The heart of the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the Arya triple gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Bhagawan was dwelling on massive Vulture's Mountain in Rajagriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagawan was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound perception. Shayla, can you hear?
You're breaking out. You're breaking up.
Okay, I think it's the mic, but can you hear now? Okay. We're on the second paragraph. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound perfection of wisdom and beheld those five aggregates also as empty as inherent nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara. How should any son of the lineage train who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra. Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, and no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the endpoint of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared. Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisattva. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagawan arose from the concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that. It is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Bhagawan, having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, and those surrounding in their entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagawan. Mandala offering. Sajipoki
Geshe
Shingito Traham Ri Rapli Shi Nihite Gyan Adi Sage Jindu Nihite Uwahayi Rohu Dakshi Cho Parsho Idam Taking refuge and generating bodhicitta, once in English, twice in Tibetan. I go for refuge until I am enlightened, to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye Chodang Soki Jonala Janche Bade Dani Capsuchi Dagi Chonyen Gepe Sonamki Drola Pencher Sangye Drupa Jo Sangye Chodang Soki Chognam La Jangchu Badu Dagni Capsuchi Dagi Chonyen Gepe Sonamki Drola Pencher Sangye Drupa Jo
Sanje Chondang Zoji Chona La Janje Bade Dani Dagi Jinson Jebe Zonam Ge Rola Penche Sanje Droba Sho Bange Dozani Zone Dawa Tanje Bambe Jitambe Jone Dunze Wang Kondam De La Janza Donye Nije Zondun Jube La Jinje Sanze Kanje Den Roko Chana Beme Tenze Jazo Soan De Sushin Do Londo Sho Ambo la yeke na lo dana joge ribo dana me kena da rawa konje dana je zamba tamje ke to dagi chendo to. So now we are going to do the breath meditation for a few minutes, please. We should breathe 7 times into nostril and breathe 7 times both nostrils. Count your breath, watch your breath. Be aware of your breath. Count your breath, watch your breath. Be aware of your breath. Focus on your breath. Mindful on your breath. There are many benefits to this meditation, both physical and mental and the emotions. And through these meditations, we can increase our positive energy and mindfulness and our awareness. And the main purpose of this meditation, mind is to be free from distractions and make a good balance of mind. So now we're going to do a short meditation on our mind. Where is our mind? What is the nature of mind? What is the nature of the mind in reality? What is ultimate nature of mind? Our mind is not a color, and it is not touchable. It is not a form. It is not touch it. We can't touch it. But mind is very powerful. Mind has the power to know everything. It is not to keep under the control, not to control it. Very dangerous, because it is very, powerful. It is very clear in our lives. Global world problems, country problems, society problems, family problems, and personal problems are all created from the mind. Therefore, this is necessary to practice keeping the mind under control. We should control mind. So that we can bring peace to us in our lives, in our family, in our country, and especially in this world. Through this meditation, we should recognize Buddha nature and need to understand the Buddha nature. Buddha nature is a main seed of Buddha. We should understand the ultimate nature of mind is Buddha nature. Okay, thank you. So today's topic is the four maintaining free from attachment. So, number one, if you are attached to this life, you are not a true spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to this life, you are not a true spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you don't have renunciation. If you attach to samsara, you don't have renunciation. If you attach to self-interesting or self-benefit, you don't have bodhicitta. If you attach to self-interesting or self-benefit, you do not have bodhicitta. If there is a grasping, you do not have right view. If there is grasping, you do not have right view. So this is for maintaining free from attachment. So last Wednesday I talked about the first line. So today I'm going to talk about the second line. This means if you attach to samsara, you don't have renunciation. This is today's topic. This line, is meaning is if you attach to samsara, you don't have renunciation. This means if we are attached to samsara, we can't cultivate renunciation. But now we should understand what is the meaning of renunciation. What is the meaning of renunciation, and how to renounce this life. So, compassion, compassion for ourselves. This is renunciation. This is something meaning of renunciation. Compassion, compassion to ourselves. This is renunciation. You understand? Yes? Compassion for ourselves. Compassion for others. This is compassion. Compassion for ourselves. This is the meaning of renunciation. In our Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist teaching, compassion, for others, this is compassion. Compassion to ourselves, compassion for ourselves, this is renunciation. So, whatever. Compassion means that our mind, wish from others not to suffer, and wish for all the suffering beings to be free from suffering. This is compassion. This is, really, meaning of compassion. Mind, wish for others not to suffer, and wish for all the sentient beings to be free from suffering. This is meaning of compassion. We meditate on, this mind. This meditation can be, meditation, compassion, meditation, practice compassion. So, whatever, compassion means that our minds wish for, others not to suffer, and wish for all the sentient beings to be free from suffering. This is the meaning of, compassion. We need to practice compassion for ourselves. This means to have wish to not suffer and wish for ourselves to be free from suffering of samsara. This means, compassion for ourselves. To have, wish to suffer and wish for ourselves to be free from suffering of samsara. This is, compassion for ourselves. This is renunciation. That means, if you compassion for yourself, really you want to, to be free from suffering of samsara. So you want practice for achieving liberation from suffering of samsara. So this is meaning of, renunciation. No, this is not any translation problem. This is different tradition, different language, maybe, Renunciation, according to the Buddhist philosophy, renunciation don't need to give up everything. Okay, as I mentioned that before, renunciation means, make less attached to this life. And now I should, I already made it clear here what means, renunciation. Compassion for ourselves. This is the meaning of renunciation. If you can practice compassion for yourself, if you create compassion for yourself, you really want to achieve liberation from suffering of samsara. As I mentioned that before, if we wish, achieve liberation, and day and night and all the times we really want to achieve liberation from suffering of samsara. This is the meaning of renunciation. So that renunciation means not to run away from family, friends, and this life. Because as I mentioned that before, very clear, our friends, not samsara. Our family is not samsara. Our life is not samsara. Just life is, And America is not samsara. So we don't need to run away from America and life and family and friends. We should change our mind. And, mind, need, separate from attachment. This is renunciation. Within your family, in this society, we can practice renunciation. We can generate, cultivate renunciation. So of course, many people are confused about that. Many people think, consider that, renunciation means, give up everything. But at the beginning, very difficult for practice in the society, in the family, in the samsara, of course. Not easy. So whatever, today we should understand, okay? Compassion for ourselves, this is meaning of samsara, or meaning of renunciation. Sorry. Okay? And this is very, important, okay? And so that means, to have wish to not suffer and wish for ourselves to be free from suffering of samsara. This is, compassion for ourselves. But basically, we should understand about our life nature of our life. Then we can generate compassion for ourselves. Without understanding the nature of our life, our body, we can't, generate compassion for ourselves. Many people consider that, my life is fine, I'm happy with the fine, blah, 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 But you really, you analyze on the nature of your life, then you understand nature of your life. Then really you want to, compassion for yourself. Isn't it? What is the meaning of samsara? Where is the samsara? As I mentioned that before, our body is a samsara. our body from where? We just think, oh, my body is just skin and blood and bone, something like that, We never analyze what is cause of your body. What is cause of your body? Where is from your body? So what is the real nature of your body? Yeah, so first we should understand the nature of body and life. Then we should try to generate compassion for ourselves. Strongly, wish to be free from suffering, samsara, ourselves. Then we can practice. Then we all, really want to, achieve liberation from suffering of samsara. This can, very good what is motivator. Engage in practice and apply, practice. Actually, of course, we want happiness and overcome suffering. But ignorantly, we destroyed our happiness. Always run after, cause of suffering. Really, our happiness here. But we always go on this way, wrong direction. How we can get happiness? Because ignorantly, we have ignorance. Too much, We don't understand about reality nature. That's why we create bad karma. And we go on the wrong way. And we do mistake. Same mistake again. Because, this our ignorance. So, through the meditation about emptiness, and then we develop our understanding and wisdom. Then hopefully we can go on the right way. And so many people, misunderstand, misconception. Suffer of change is, real happiness. So, they run after, and strive and do something for, suffer of change. It is, totally, wrong view. Really, So we, can't generate compassion for ourselves. Of course, everyone loves ourselves, ourselves, but still we can't generate compassion for ourselves. Still we can't remember. We need to achieve liberation from suffering of samsara. That's why we have a lot of problems in this life. That's why we can't guide, leads on the right way ourselves. We can't lead on the right way. Always go on the wrong way. Really, always follow attachment, ignorance, anger, and emotion. How we can be happy? How we can make meaningful life? Because we have so many different emotions. how you can follow them? We should control. Otherwise problem. Otherwise, always problem. Really. Then always problem. Then, really, feeling exhausted with our life. So this is a problem. As I mentioned that before, it's a compassion. What is it? If we really want to have, compassion for ourselves, then we want to engage in practice. Because you really, you have compassion for yourself. So now you want to choose practice for yourself. Many people, of course, everyone loves ourselves, but it is something like foolish love. Yes, foolish. Not wise. Wise love. If you really wise love to love yourself, then you try to lead yourself on the right way. And take care of your life. Take care of your mind. That means you should try to change your life for better. And increase good qualities with your mind, from your mind. Then we can be happy. Then we can be a happy person. Always, keep, conceptually, narrow mind, narrow view. Then you can't see reality. This conception, bring problem in our life. Really, if you look far and widely and try to open your mind, then you can see reality. Then you can control. Then you can develop yourself. As I mentioned that before, if you look, a rock very close, you look at very close, you see, rock is very big, but not a reality this kind that much big. If you look from distance, then you can see reality. For example, always mind like this, narrow mind. You can't be be patient. You can't do what is a challenge. You have more challenge in your life because your mind become narrow. So Buddha said we should make our mind is like ocean and sky. Then you can be happy. Okay, whatever, so, compassion for ourselves, compassion for other sentient beings, very important, very, very important, most important. Compassion is, really, harmony of mind, very sweet mind, it's a peaceful mind, and powerful mind. And genuinely, peaceful mind, which is, compassion has, power to create world peace. Really, compassion can change the world. Compassion change our life. Compassion create what is happiness. It is most powerful. So we need compassion in our life. as I mentioned that before, compassion for ourselves, compassion for others. Then you can get happy life. Really happy life. Then wherever you go, you can be happy, smile, and share. Then you want to take care of others. And you think you want to think about others' happiness and others' suffering. You are always a good person. You know. So without compassion, as I mentioned that before, without compassion, there is no chance to create world peace. And we don't have compassion. We can't make a single family happy and peaceful. So I also, I always, tell that compassion is, main cause of happiness. I mentioned that before. If you compassion for your family, if you compassion for friends, if you compassion for, yourself, then you can be a happy family. Then you can make a happy family and a happy society and a happy world. Peaceful, what is? World peace. So, and whatever, so now I am going to talk a little bit more about renunciation. So renunciation is the main, in us, in trace, draw, in trace, or to the path of enlightenment. Enlightenment. This we should understand, okay? Actually, I talked about that many times. Renunciation is the main, entrance of to the path of enlightenment. This main draw, to the path of enlightenment. When we have a genuine renunciation, then at the same time we have entered the path of enlightenment. Then we have path to enlightenment. We have path. Without this renunciation, we can't create we can't generate path of enlightenment. And genuine, so renunciation is the first part of enlightenment. And without genuine, renunciation, we can't enter into the path of enlightenment. Because as I mentioned that before, renunciation is a door to the path of enlightenment. So we should enter to a door. Then we get inside. Isn't it? And renunciation is the fundamental, main fundamental of our path, all the path, of enlightenment. And as I mentioned that before, all the paths, arise from renunciation. All the paths from renunciation. Because as I mentioned that before, why path renunciation is first path. Why? If we have renunciation, then we want to achieve liberation, from suffering of samsara. Then, whatever we do something Dharma activity, whatever we do something practice, we do, we want to do in order to, achieve suffering of samsara. This is in a part, genuine renunciation. So, whatever, renunciation means that we have renounced samsara or, renounced this life. But first we should understand the nature of samsara and very clearly, and we should be disgust, with samsara and this life. But I think this word is a little bit problem for you. How we can disgust with this life? If we don't understand nature of life, not nature of body, then you don't want to disgust, your life and your body. So we know that we should be, disgust and, with this life and renounce it. Whatever, if we have strong, very strong feelings of suffering for this life, then we can renounce this life and samsara. So we should, treat this feeling very strong, feeling of suffering of this life. Then you can, renounce this life. As I mentioned that before, this life is, is really miserable. We have a lot of suffering. Suffering of change, suffering of, blah, 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 many things. Suffering of aging, suffering of, the sickness, suffering of death. Suffering of attachment, suffering of anger, suffering of, ignorance. It's a lot. So we should understand what it means suffering. Where is it from suffering? When Buddha, he was when he first teach, he talked about, suffering. When we talk, about Four Noble Truth, first time, he said that this is suffering. What is this is suffering? What means? This body is suffering. That means, body is nature of suffering. This is a suffering, and should understand suffering, cause of suffering. So, as I told you before, about Buddha's, biography and Buddha's life story. Our Buddha was, prince. He was born into a very rich family, royal family. He have everything in his life, but still he was, disgust with his life. And he renounced it and engaged in a spiritual path. Why? Maybe we think he's silly, he's stupid, but not. He's very smart. He's very wise. But he's renounced his life, such a beautiful life, sweet life, because he has everything. Everything. Why? So as I mentioned that before, there are two different happiness. One is like physical happiness, and one is mental happiness. So he renounced this life and try to find mental happiness. Because mental happiness is more important than physical happiness. Physical happiness is a temporary happiness. Physical happiness we can get from living conditions, facilities, money. But it is not ultimate happiness. This is not really happiness. This is not for lasting happiness. So Buddha, he realized that mental happiness is more important than physical happiness. So he engaged in practice. And everything left everything and renounced everything. So then he engaged in a spiritual path. As I mentioned that before, this is very important. We should understand. At that time, many people ask him, why you renounce? Why you give up family? Why you run out from the family? You are prince. You will become, the king. Why you renounce? Why you give up? But he said that, he gave answer. He said, why we, Buddha said, whether we are rich or poor, finally, everyone will die. So we should find some answer and question. First here ask, who am I? Who am I? And why did I come onto this earth? And where will go after death? He said, finding out this answer of these questions was the most important things for him. So he renounced this life. So he ran away from the family. Find out this questions, these answers, this answer for this answer for these questions. So he said, this is very important for us. He said, when we die, we have to renounce everything. So it's very difficult. When we die, we have to renounce everything. This is very difficult. So he said that, so we renounce before we die. This is, easier and better. So he said, now I renounce this life, because when we die, we have to renounce everything. We can't take this body with us. We should renounce this body and this life and family, parents, family, was a child, and everything. If you renounce now, before we die, then when we die, we can go peaceful in the end, very easy. We already renounced everything, Otherwise, when we die, then, attached to, body, attached to family, attached to, possessions, yeah, and attached to house, car, properties. Very difficult, very big suffering. So now that is good chance to renounce in this life. Renounce means make less attachment to this life. Of course, we need money. We need good life, a good condition. But to don't attach to this life, to attach to money, then this problem. This is a big problem. This is main problem. Really. So we should understand, okay, Buddha was said, I renounce this life because when we die, we have to renounce everything. So renounce now is much more, better than, when we die, we have to renounce. And whatever, with the realization of the suffering of aging and the suffering of sickness and the suffering of death, he understood, this way, the best way for renouncing everything. He left everything behind him and become a monk. Buddha, realized suffering of aging, suffering of sickness, suffering of death, and generate realization of these sufferings. Then he could renounce everything very easily. As I mentioned that before, we can't renounce this life. Why? Because we can't understand about sufferings. So Buddha, realized everything, realize, suffering of, nature of sufferings. As I mentioned that before, Kadamba Master said that, one Kadamba Master said that, happiness in the three, realms, three states, animal state, hungry ghost state, hell realm state. Is like a dew tip of grass. That means happiness of suffering, samsara. This is like a small dew of tree grass. That means very easy to change, easy to go, easy to disappear, and very small. We can't be satisfied with this dew of tip of grass. Happiness of suffering, samsara. This is nothing for us. So, this happiness is happiness, very easy to fend away. Fendi, yeah. It's very easy. Within maybe a few minutes, disappear. So that's why we should practice in order to get automatic happiness, or supreme happiness. Of liberation of free from suffering of samsara. This, of course, in first, this first line tells us, not to be attached to this, attached to the temporary happiness of samsara, and not to be attached to suffering of change, and especially he tells us not to be attached to the happiness of this life. This is, this Manjushri, Manjushri's teaching. This is Manjushri's, instruction, advice. Because we can't get full satisfaction with the temporary happiness of samsara. Happiness means, maybe same, full satisfaction and fulfill. This is meaning of happiness. But in samsara, we can't get full satisfaction with, happiness of samsara. So, whatever, as I mentioned that before, also Kadamba Master said that all temporary happiness is a suffer of change. So, we always run after happiness, this temporary happiness. But temporary happiness is, suffer of change. That means, after some time, this turn to suffering. When we, use first at moment, this looks like, happiness. But after sometimes, then turn to suffering. Exactly, Exactly so, for example, many people want to drink, isn't it? When they drink 1 cup of maybe, wine or something, looks very happy and you very enjoy. But you use more. Maybe 1-2 bottle of, wine. Then what happens? Then you get problem. You lose your memory. Then you want to fight it. And then you want to make problem. And after some time, then get headache. Then you can't go well, can't walk well. You can't control yourself. Then you do, you want to do many mistakes. Create bad karma, means sin. Really, Then after maybe then next day, morning, regret. You lose money. You made many people angry many people. Make a lot of problem. So now what happened? That means, suffer of change. First time, look like, aspect, look like, happiness, aspect of happiness. But, turn to suffering. So, however, long we use it, happiness of suffering, or the temporary happiness, you use it, for a few days, few months, a year, but we never become satisfied. We need more and more and more. Then we can control ourselves from wanting this, from a desire, this happiness, this temporary happiness of samsara. In spite of our, very strong attachment to happiness being, temporary. So this is the main cause of suffering of this life. This attachment brings on all the problems in our lives. Therefore, Lama Tsongkhapa said that we shouldn't get attached to temporary happiness of samsara. As Manjushri said that. Also, Jetsün Drakpa Gyaltsen, who is an author of this maintaining, he said that. So, whatever we, really we try to, control attachment. This is best solution, best way, best practice. This is the main cause of happiness, peaceful, mental peace, inner peace. Otherwise, always follow to attachment. Never, try to control. Then more and more problem, more and more problem. Then, attachment control us. Then, as I mentioned that before, then our mind, become narrow and narrow and narrow and tough and rude. Then, then we can't, manage our life, handle our life. Then everywhere problem problems come from everywhere. So that's why we should try to control our attachment. So now we talk about renunciation. That means control attachment, make less attachment. As I mentioned that before, many Indian masters, Tibetan masters, many bodhisattvas, whole lifetime spent in a cave, very small cave, very dark cave, but still they are happy because they don't have attachment. Really, if we don't have attachment, then we can be happy forever. Then we can be happy with the tea, cup of tea and a cup of water, and what do you have? You can be happy with, you don't need coffee and expensive, wine and beer and alcohol. Don't need. Everything, is from attachment. Everything depends on your attachment. If you don't have attachment, you can be happy with a simple life, with a simple car, simple family. Really, really, if it's actually for example, mountains, forest, and caves not belong to us. So much better for us for control attachment. And everyone's recognize these mountains and the forest and these caves and not there any value. Not something like this. So whatever. So when Milarepa, Jitsui Milarepa, he is a very special, Tibetan master, practitioner, yogini. Very, very special practitioner. We believe he was, achieved Buddhahood with his, short life. When he was, in a cave, some robbers come to his cave and look for, something in his cave. He was laugh, I tried to find a daytime, but I never find anything in my cave. How you can find in the dark? He was very smile, and laugh. Because he don't have attachment, so he happy. He don't need any worry about about what means something So don't need worry. You don't have anything. You don't have attachment. First, when he start practice in a cave, meditate in a cave, he make a fire and make hot water and tea. After some time, he thought this is also a problem. We spend certain time for the make fire and collected woods for fire. Then after some time, he give up make fire. Then always he drink cold water and zamba, only little zamba. Really? Everything depends on mind. According to the Buddhist philosophy, everything depends on mind. In Tibet, we say nang che, nang che. Nang che means Buddhism. Okay, Buddhism Dharma, nang che. In Tibet, we say nang che. What means nang che? Nang means in. Che means Dharma. That means, Buddhism means, Buddhism Dharma means change, transform me, mind, change mind. And make, better mind, change mind, better mind, make better. This is the meaning of, Dharma, Buddhism. Nang che. Na means in. Che means change mind, transforming mind. So, So as I mentioned that before, same when Buddha had renounced everything, his primary purpose was to find a way to be released from old sickness, death, which meant to be free from suffering of aging, suffering of sickness, suffering of death. That means why Buddha renounced. Why? Because he want to be suffering from suffering of aging, suffering of sickness, suffering of death. So he renounced everything. Otherwise, he already realized if we attach to this life, not renounce, we can't be free from suffering of all the suffering of sickness, suffering of death. So, so short story, how he was, how he renounced everything. One day he went to the 4 doors. 4 doors means door of his palace, many doors, and to the for different directions. This door, behind door, 4 doors. He went to this door with 7 his friends. Reach outside the door. He saw, outside the first door, he saw a woman, who had a lot of suffering of birth. At that time, he realized suffering of birth. And when he reached outside the second door, he saw an old man who had a lot of suffering of aging. Old. Can't walk well, can't see well, can't talk well, can't stand up and sit down well, can't, When he stands up, his body is like very heavy, like a tree. And when he sits down, he can't control body and falling down and crashing to the ground. For example, this kind of suffering of age, suffering of old. But because we have a lot of ignorance, so still we can't recognize the suffering of old, suffering of age. Actually, we have this suffering in our life. We can see everywhere, but still we can't recognize because we have too much I don't know so many negative karmas and so many ignorance. So we should learn more, understand more, study more, meditation more. Then hopefully we understand and can recognize the suffering of this kind of sufferings. So whatever, as I mentioned that before, we are old or not, doesn't matter. We can do many things with our this life before we die. At least we can recite the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. As I mentioned that before. Everyone can recite mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. Anytime. You don't need any special time, any certain time. Really, when you dive, you Om Mani Padme Hum, recite Om Mani Padme Hum. Very nice, very good, very easy. This very good, good time, good opportunity. Especially, when you dive, you can recite mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. When you watch TV, you can recite mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. Easy. But unfortunately, still difficult. We can't do that. Actually, very easy, but still we can't, because we have negative karma, too much negative karma and ignorance. That is the problem. In Tibet, in Nepal, in Himalaya, in India, all the people recite the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. All the time, when they cook, when they're cooking, they recite the mantra. When they're watching movie, they recite the mantra. When they go on the street, they can recite the mantra. All the time, really. When we talk, also they recite the mantra. Om Mani Padme Hum. Talk. Om Mani Padme Hum. Then talk. For example, this becoming their routine. So very easy. Easy for them. Everyone have a big mala. So as I mentioned that before, if you really, rely your life on the spiritual path, practice, mantras, Avalokiteshvara, you don't need get feeling lonely, because you have Avalokiteshvara, because you have Buddha. You have best friend of yourself. Why you get feeling lonely? You have Dharma. So, this can help us. And then we can make, create, mental strength. Really, if you really believe Buddha Dharma, really believe Avalokiteshvara, then you can recite mantra, enjoy, happy. So you don't need to get any feeling boring and feel lonely. So, yes, when he was outside the third door, he saw a fourth door, fourth door, sorry. Fourth door, he saw a person who had a lot of suffering of death. And maybe third door. Third door, he was he saw who's a person who had suffer of sickness. Fourth door, outside the fourth door, he saw a person who suffer of death. And whatever, he saw an older person who had a lot of suffering, of sickness, like a sick hand, sick leg, sickness of, so many sickness. Through all of his body parts problem. And when he reached outside the fourth door, he saw a person who had a lot of suffering of death. He was in the process of dying due to this kind of sufferings. And, which had made him, renounce this life. Due to this, these sufferings, and he recognized suffering, what is meaning of suffering. Then, he renounced everything. So that's why, so what he told us, what he taught us through this story, through his deeds, what we need to understand, what we need to learn from his life story. We should remember suffering of death, suffering of birth, suffering of sickness, suffering of, suffer sickness. Then we can control attachment to this life. So, look, this, so Manjushri said, if you attach to, this life, you don't have, renunciation. So anyway, now I'm going to stop here, please.
Karen has a question.
Can you hear me online? Yes? Okay. This is kind of a stupid question, actually. But when he left the palace and he was driven by these questions, why did he need to become a monk? Why be a monk? All he had to do was go on with his path and keep asking those questions and having those experiences. I don't quite understand why he chose to be a monk.
Okay, this is a good answer, good question. So, actually, especially those who are beginner, we need, for practice, we need a good condition, good place, good environment. And especially monk's life, much better than lay person for practice, more easy. Sorry?
He could have had that on his own. And he didn't go into a monastery, he went on a journey that lasted many years.
Of course, at that time he doesn't have any monastery.
So why?
But this big tree is his monastery. He meditated under the, especially he was born under the tree. He was, ordinate.
Ordinated.
Ordained,
Sorry,
He
ordained.
cut him his hair under the tree, become monk under the tree, and he meditated for 6 years under the tree, and he was become Buddha under the tree.
He was a nature guy then. I mean, not necessarily a monk. The tree was a great symbol of life to him, I would think.
Tree is his home, his temple.
Well, yeah.
So
But why, in the sutras, with his words, did he describe himself as a monk or did others label him that way?
sorry, what?
Did the Buddha describe himself as a monk? Is there a record of that? Or did others label?
He's
Really? Oh,
Really, really.
interesting.
yeah.
So the other quick,
Good question. Yeah, good question. This special.
yeah,
This special. He become monk himself, and he ordinate himself, not from some teachers.
Yeah, yeah.
Gurus.
Interesting.
Okay.
The retreat that you were talking about, the caves, did you visit Milarepa's cave? I know it's available for people to visit. Did you ever see it?
So many Milarepa's caves. So which one? In Tibet and the
Oh.
border of Tibet and the Nepal border and the Nepal side. In the Tibet side, many caves.
So there's
I
all,
visit, one cave of Milarepa. This is not so far from Kathmandu, in
really?
Nepal side. Really.
So what's the view like?
What
The
means?
view when you're sitting in the cave, what do you see? Because pictures that I've seen,
I see just empty cave.
no, you're looking, I'm not asking you to look in the cave. If you're in the cave looking out, what is the view? Because some of the photos I've seen, it's always about the view. When these guys choose their caves, they always have these spectacular, big, open, grand views.
Yes, yeah, the very big rocks and narrow the streets.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But there's a situation in my life where someone is trying to control. I feel my eye
yes,
pop up pretty quickly and strong, and I have a great resistance. I want to,
yes,
I want to be fully.
yes.
Yeah, well.
But not easy.
Just try to be quick, and I try not to let the situation push me into what that other person wants, but I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to not be helpful, but some part of me doesn't want to be controlled fully by what they're trying to do. Do you have any suggestions?
No, this not only you, everyone same, especially those who beginner. Not only you, don't worry. Everyone same, especially at the beginning. Not easy to control ourselves. Very difficult to come down because we have an I, central of our heart. We consider that I means something very, very central, very salty in our heart. So we can't control, not easy, but we should try. Be compassionate, with compassion. If you create, if you develop compassion, then you can control I. And wisdom. We need wisdom. Compassion, compassionate wisdom. If you have compassionate wisdom, then you can control I. Really, compassion and wisdom, especially compassionate wisdom. This is very helpful. So, finish time, yeah.
Any other questions on Zoom?
There are no questions on Zoom.
The Geshe, the Zoom community would like to thank you for the incredible teaching on renunciation.
Thank you.
I think we can do the dedications. Gewadi nor
Lo
du
dan la
lama
sa
songe ro
wa che ja ma
alu
sa do ba shu
Jiangchu
sen
Sen
jo ren bo she ma
Ma
che
ke
pa
pa
na
nam
te
te kyor
kyen che
che
je wa
wa
nyam
nam
pa
pa
me
me
pa
pa
ya
ya
ko
go
ne
ne
pon
gong
de
chu
pe
bel
wa
bo
shu
sho. For His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Gang ri re wa
ko
ko
we
re
shin
shin
ka
kam dir
de pe
and
da
dek
de
de
wa
wa
ma
ma
lu
lu
ju
shu
re
re
ne
ne Chen
che
re
se
zi
wa
wa
ten
ten
se
zin
ja
gat
cho
do yu
ja
da
pe
pe
sen
zi
ta
de
pa
pa
tu
du da
ten jun ji
chi. Prayer for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Fearless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious one, Shravakas and Pratik Buddhas. Victorious Losang, father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable, venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessing of the ocean of the three jewels and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples. And may we keep our dedication for our teacher, Geshe Sherab, long life, and Geshe Tashi Dhondup, long life.
Isina kane patan roa jisine juba tese dani ne junin roe donga sewa sho jambe pawa jita chemba da konde sambo te ate si te ta kunji jisu da ya gewan de ta tanje ra tungo